Southampton was an important market centre supplying local towns and villages with wine and other commodities in exchange for locally grown food and raw materials, especially wool. Many carts left the town laden with wine, fish, garlic, onions, figs, and oils for the towns of Winchester, Salisbury, Romsey, and Ringwood. Carts also travelled between Southampton and other important centres in the cloth trade, such as Coventry and Northampton. The merchant class formed only a small portion of Southampton's population. The majority of people worked in a variety of crafts and trades. They included brewers, smiths, carpenters, candle makers, tailors, butchers, cobblers, and bakers. Women and men worked in these crafts. A sisterhood of women existed in Southampton as a company for packing and covering of wool. Much work was generated by the port, the repair and fitting of ships, dock workers, porters, warehouse packers, carters, and for the bakers also supplying biscuits for the ship's crew. The textile industry was the most important manufacturing industry in medieval England. Cloth was vital to Southampton's export trade in Europe. The cloth-making industries of Northampton, Coventry, Winchester, Salisbury, and Wiltshire sent their cloth to Southampton for export. Southampton supplied many materials such as dyes from Asia and carding instruments to comb and prepare the wool from Europe. Cloth making was carried out in Southampton on a small scale, although documents refer to cloth workers, lace makers, wool combers, and tailors working in the town. Many of the archaeological objects would all have belonged to wealthy people. The imported pottery, the glass, pewter, excavations can often turn up valuable objects, but because poorer people had few possessions and lived in small houses which have not survived, their presence in the archaeological record is often scanty. Documents help us to see rich and poor people. This extract is from the will of a wealthy man in Southampton. The inventory of Richard Thomas lists the contents of his house, stable, shop, and stores. He lived at 69 High Street in the parish of Holyrood and owned a draper's shop. The total value of his goods came to £301, 6 shillings and 8pence. The inventory was made in 1447. An extract from the inventory listing the items shows: Item 4 chests at 2 shillings. Item 2 chafing dishes, 2 small ewers, 10 candlesticks, 4 small candlesticks and 2 painted wooden dishes at 9 shillings and twopence. Wealth, as today, was reflected in the amount of furniture, tableware, and linen you owned. Bedsteads, feather mattresses, pillows, sheets, pillowcases, towels, tablecloths, and even plates were possessions of the wealthy. Richard Marsh, a draper selling cloth, was not quite as prosperous, so he slept between canvas sheets. The medieval home was also a place of work. In addition to the wide range of domestic tasks needed in a medieval household, industries was also based in the home. Industries such as brewing ale and spinning wool would take place in the house, while goods were sold from the front of the house, leading to the street. In Southampton, many houses were also used as warehouses. Most of the large merchant houses fronting on the main streets had large semi-basement stone vaults used to store merchandise from the port. The kitchen was always busy. Large houses may have had a kitchen inside, but most would have used an outhouse in the yard. One such kitchen was discovered when excavating a medieval property on Simnel Street. The building had completely burnt down in a fire, a frequent hazard for medieval buildings. During the 12th and 13th centuries, a number of large stone houses were built in the town, such as King John's House behind the Tudor House Museum and Canute's Palace. Stone was very expensive as it had to be brought into Southampton from Wiltshire, the Isle of Wight, and even from Caen in Normandy. Stone houses were a display of great wealth, but after the 13th century very few were built, although cellars and undercrofts continued to be built in stone. As stone was expensive, many wealthy people built houses with stone footings and timber frames with wattle and daub walls. The houses were long and narrow, with the gable end fronting onto the street. You can see a typical example of such a house at 58 French Street. There is little to tell us about the houses of poorer people, as none survive today. The Southampton Terrier map of 1454 shows that there were many small cottages in the town and rows of small tenements, rather like terraces. Excavations of these cottages in Winchester and York have shown that they were built of timber frame and wattle and daub walls. A wattled partition may have divided the house into a living area and a sleeping area. Living in these houses with an earthen floor and hearth instead of fireplace would probably have been a very dark, smoky and uncomfortable existence.